welcome to episode 19 of the Bikini Besties podcast. I'm Lauren.
Kaylia.
Stephanie.
And today's episode is bikini bodybuilding training and our experiences. But before we dive in, like always, we'll give our little prep updates. And I'm not the only one in prep. Anymore.
She's back.
The funeral.
So you get to go.
Improvement season calories. Goodbye. Yeah, I guess. Okay, so I started prep 6 days ago, and we are hopefully shooting for October shows, so post Olympia, to try and qualify for 2025. I have a lot of vacations coming up in August and 2 weddings in September, and so I didn't really want to compete in August or September, and so that's why we're going for October, but we'll see how my prep goes through travel. It'll be a lot of fun, a lot of change, I guess. But yeah, so we're starting a little bit early so that hopefully if there is, a lot of inconsistencies that I'm prepared, or as prepared as you can be. But yeah, so I am just getting used to new training because I'm not training shoulders anymore. So I actually started incorporating a little bit more plyometrics on my active rest days. Zach loves it.
Does he really?
Partner workout? No, he doesn't.
Oh, he does.
He does
Okay.
not love it.
I could see him maybe being all
He
excited.
he doesn't love it, but he likes the competing part of it because we try to kind of like time ourselves and see who's, the most tired, and 2, who can complete
Who's
it
the most
first.
athletic?
Yeah, that's too. Because he gets all his like football training self ready, and
Oh, that's fun.
so no, we've been doing it every Sunday, and so yeah, it's a lot of fun.
That might be nice for prep, like help you burn more.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if you'll see like a difference in how maybe quickly you lose, or like, I don't know.
Yeah,
like,
and my conditioning in my legs. Conditioning in my legs is always going to be my thing.
What if that? Yeah, it'll be interesting.
So we'll see. We'll see how it works out. But yeah, no, we're starting, and it's kind of nice to get back into like not back into, but a little bit more regimented, because then, I'm not like, oh, I wonder if it was this that made me bloated. I wonder if it was this. And so now we're kind of just a little bit more strict and everything, but I'm missing the carbies already, but I'm still in triple digit carbs. So yeah, we'll see.
I like how your coach just like threw it on you because he knows your tendency for scarcity mindset we talked about.
100%. So yeah, I definitely have, like, if you tell me prep is starting in a week, I'm like, okay, what are the things that I absolutely want that I'm going to miss for the next 3 to 4 months?
That's me.
And so instead of giving me a week to fit in all those foods, on a Monday, he was like, we are starting now. And so I had a Last Supper. And it was the weirdest combination of things.
What was it? Yeah, you gotta tell us.
I can't even say it. So I went and got 5 guys. Okay, so he told me, so I checked in on a Monday at, I think, around 10 a.m. And then he told me we were starting prep at about like 3 o'clock. And so from 3 until I finished work at 5, I was like, what do I want?
Making a list.
Right, making a list.
Mapping out your drive.
Exactly. Like, what am I going to pass on my way home? Texting Zach, like, okay, we're having this for dinner tonight. So I stopped at Five Guys Fries, because fries was for sure being eaten.
Their fries are so good.
I need you to have Freddy's frozen custard fries.
Oh, I didn't. Yeah, okay.
I still have not had
Oh, you guys, they're these shoestring, crispy, yummy.
I love shoestring and crispy. It's so good.
Okay, they're on my list.
Okay.
Next time
After show, I'm bringing you some whenever you can eat a fry.
So many things.
I'm bringing you these French.
So I got that, and then it was so much fun on the way home to be able to snack out of a bag. Just
I know.
You know what I mean? Just like
just
a normal
munch.
person.
Just normal. Who gets
right?
to do that?
I know. It felt so weird too, because I was like, oh, I'm like
it's
eating
like
food
illegal.
without, like, yeah. And then what else did I get? Oh, and then I stopped at so in Boise, I think that Land Ocean crab cakes are the best crab cakes in Boise. So I stopped there, and they're of course looking at me weird because I was ordering an appetizer to go, and that was it. That's all I got from there. So then we had I had crab cakes, fries, and spring rolls. And then I got pot stickers for Zachary because I don't like those, but he does. So yeah, and then it was funny because when I got home, I had my fourth meal, and then I looked at all the food that I got, and I actually did not want it all, so I didn't end up eating
Go
all
you.
of it. I
That's
had one
good.
spring roll. But like when I was buying, I'm like, I'm gonna eat 4 of these
Right.
and this and whatever. But it's kind of funny because you just
Yeah.
always, if you stay a little bit more regimented and like eat the meal, you actually aren't as hungry as you think you are. So
Well, you satisfied the craving for it. You like
Yeah.
had one and
that was
you're
pretty
like,
much
that's
it.
all I needed. I didn't need to binge on it. I
Yeah.
just wanted to satisfy a couple cravings before prep started.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like a bite of this and a bite of that. And
Exactly.
you even talked about post show. You always want just like a sample platter. You don't want a big meal.
Yeah,
You just want to like.
I do
a bite
not
of
want an
each
entree.
thing.
I want
Yeah.
everyone else to give me a bite of their food.
It's
That's,
so true.
it.
I
Just
want
so
a bite
taste all
of
these
everything
things.
on the menu.
Exactly. I always
Yeah.
feel like I'm in jail when I'm at a certain restaurant. I'm
Yes.
like,
I get one meal. That's it.
yeah. Because where can
Yeah.
you get, like, what restaurant can you go to where you can get fries and crab cakes?
No.
Nowhere.
Well,
Literally nowhere.
no.
Kona
Well,
Grove?
good ones.
Yeah, good ones.
Good ones.
Yeah.
but-
Kona?
Yeah.
I don't know. I've never had their crab cakes, so I
Yeah,
wouldn't know.
But I'm definitely a go to a restaurant and get all their appetizers kind of person.
Yes.
That's
Like
so good.
that's
Sampler,
yeah.
yeah.
Yep.
I
And when
love
a place
sharing
has a
one.
sampler platter of an
That's the
appetizer,
best.
and you get to pick the ones.
Yeah.
That's
The only amendment I'd make to that is that if I can be at home in my PJs or
yes, correct. Yes.
that's even better.
But sometimes for me, I like to, Ronnie and I just kind of talked about this. I like to go out to the restaurant because like if we're in prep, we don't go out to restaurants a
Yeah,
lot and
that's
sit
true.
down and experience the
Yes,
restaurant
and,
and
photos
like
have a date
just
night.
yeah. So like I like the experience of getting out of the house, going
Yes.
to the restaurant, get my Diet Coke and snack on some appetizers and like
Yes, yeah.
hang out with whoever I'm with.
Yeah.
Like I like that. It
Absolutely.
just
Yes.
changes up the experience. But then
Yes.
definitely though, I prefer
Yeah.
just being in my
A little
sweats
bit
on
of
the
both.
couch and TV and just
Yeah.
munching on out of to-go containers.
Yeah.
Maybe I'll put
I
it
have
on
to
a
do it at
plate.
least once a year.
Yes. My
yeah.
my guilty pleasure for going home like takeout is Thai food. I am a Thai food person.
I am
Before I did
not.
bodybuilding,
love Thai food.
I would get Thai food 1 to 2 days a week, and then I would just eat the leftovers like all
Yeah.
week.
What's your favorite Thai food place here?
I
know what
there's
mine
like
is.
there's like a place over in East Boise that I just like because it was close to where I first moved here.
Oh.
But I haven't tried very many because I don't get that many free meals.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
I've literally been either in prep or a very structured improvement season
Yeah.
since I've lived here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I can't have like every meal be Thai food to try all these different restaurants.
Right.
So I'm like, I get like in my off season, I'll get Thai food like only twice. And it's like my favorite food in the world.
Oh, see, I would like all
But-
yeah.
Yeah.
But I like, I have to get, since I don't get it very often, I'm like, well, we got to get pad Thai. We
Yeah.
got to get this, like, we got
Yeah.
to get like some different, like the wide noodles. And then we
Mm.
also have to get, I love green curry. Green curry, if I could only have one. And then you have to get the summer rolls, like
yeah.
with peanut sauce.
That's fair.
Okay,
I
now this
love
all
these
does sound really
things.
good. I never choose. This is not the food I choose to go to.
No, what's
But
yours?
that sounds so good.
You're more
Mexican.
Mexican.
I
I would
always
say
say
Oh yeah,
Mexican's good
Mexican.
for
Yeah, I'm
you.
a Mexican.
Yeah.
Food type person.
You're like, I'm a Mexican.
That's-
Yeah.
and then or what is it? Or just like like just traditional like appetizery
Yeah.
foods. Like
Yeah,
I don't
yeah,
know. Like
yeah.
yeah, that's how what I
Yeah.
am into.
No,
Yeah.
for sure.
We always
And donuts.
we can go way off on
Yeah,
food.
Zach actually mentioned that. He's like, "Are you gonna get the donut? What's that place? That Kaylee likes?
Mojo
the
donuts.
no, the
Oh.
one, the fast food one from.
Del Taco?
Yes, that's what he said. Are you gonna get the little Del Taco donuts? And I was like, no.
you
I
get a
shouldn't. I
dessert?
shouldn't.
No, we got what did we get for dessert? It was the minis, the crumble cookie minis.
Yeah.
And so yeah,
The Monday minis.
yeah,
Monday
the Monday
minis.
minis.
I have
so,
yet to
'cause,
do
yeah,
that.
Still
just
have
Monday.
not had that.
Yeah,
I think
I
I've
haven't
had
done that.
crumble once in my entire life. Well, twice.
Oh, I've
Yeah.
had crumble way too many times.
Because I've just never been able to fit it in.
Yeah.
I've never.
Oh, see,
Mine
see
did not
in
fit.
yeah, in an off season, I just take a little I take like a bite of each one, and that's my
That's what I did.
that's my tasting.
yeah. It
I
wasn't
don't
even
fit.
that good.
For
I'm-
improvement
honestly,
season,
yeah.
I don't fit it in. In prep,
No.
obviously not happening. But
Yeah.
I'd have to
like-
throw him away. I'm the cookie person. Like Anthony likes them, but he won't. He's so strict. He's
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
10 times stricter than I am in off season.
Yeah.
Like,
I do what you
yeah.
do, except I don't throw that. I just make Zach take it to work.
Oh, that's a good idea. I could probably take it to the office.
Yeah, just put it in the lunchroom. It's
Improvement
gone.
season plans.
It's absolutely gone. But yeah, no, the only things I missed out on that I wanted to do was I wanted to bake. But I did have a coworker whose wife is a home baker, and so she has offered to do like little one-on-one teaching sessions with me on Sundays,
Oh,
so I can learn how
fun.
to pipe and do all the
Oh,
things. And
that's
so it'll be like
fun.
a fun little activity. So I'll still get to bake in prep, but I get to leave everything there.
Yeah. Oh, because
Yeah,
you're gonna go
yeah.
there, so it's not at your house.
Yeah.
Or you could like
Perfect.
bring
Right?
it to me, you know.
Cody's like, I'll take it.
Yeah. That's true. But yeah, so then I still get to like
I'm in off
do my
season, I'll
like
take
fun
it. Wait.
activity,
Just
right?
kidding.
Without all the food left over. So
Yeah,
That's
that's fun.
cool.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
where you can kind of lean into your hobby, but not have it like derail your
At your
goals
house,
or
sitting
be
at yeah.
tempting.
right? Like
That's a
licking-
good plan.
right? And then licking like
Oh my gosh.
You have
Yeah.
someone there, so you can't do it. In
yeah,
front of that.
exactly.
You
I
have
would
like
look like a little
accountability
piggy,
in a
like,
way.
just-
She doesn't
like
know
watching.
that she's your accountability,
Yes.
but she's your accountability.
yeah, exactly. But where are you guys at?
Well,
Yeah.
I am.
Mine's boring.
I am 21 weeks into prep. Like, guys, like, if you're looking at like doing a prep and you're like, oh, maybe I'll just be able to like do this diet for 16. I'm 21 weeks in without picking a show yet. This is a
It's
lot
a
of
long
work.
time.
Right? Moment of silence.
Well, I know we're. Yeah, we feel you.
Right.
And I've been very like I've talked about this multiple times even on here with my updates. Like, I really love the concept of that we haven't picked a show, because I like just like getting ready, and I know for a fact when my coach is like, all right, we can pick, let's go,
Mhm.
then I know I'm gonna be like 100% going into this show, and I won't ever be behind. I've just been really slow at dropping weight. I think I've had like with like the way we've been pushing so hard, I've had a little bit of like digestion that is like, because I'm clearly getting leaner. Like, everyone
yeah.
can
Oh, yeah.
see
We
it when
can
they
tell.
see
Like, it's-
me. But my weight is not going down. But it's fine because I'm getting leaner.
Like you can visually
yes.
see it.
Yeah, so I think it's some digestion things that I'm figuring out. I'm like testing some things like no more flavored waters and just little like things that could disrupt my digestion, because I don't have a lot of food. So any little variable becomes a lot larger percentage of variable.
Mhm.
Where if I was eating a lot more, then like something that's a variable would be like so minuscule.
Mhm,
But right
mhm.
now, with everything being so a little bit more sensitive and pushing so hard, I think it throws me off a little bit. So I'm just kind of making things be a little bit more strict, playing
Clean,
clean.
just kind of.
Yeah.
Not that I
Simple.
don't do it clean anyway, but just kind of
Cleaner.
like clean,
Yeah.
just a little
Yeah.
tighter,
Yeah.
little
Yeah.
little
As
bit.
basic as you could
Yeah.
possibly make it.
Yeah,
So
more
that-
basic.
yeah.
Still enjoyable. I'm still eating my creamy because I've had it every single day of prep, and I know that's not
Yeah.
what's causing this.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I keep it very simple.
Yeah.
Anyway, so but yeah, being this far in, I am kind of ready to be like, can we pick one yet?
You're ready
Yeah.
for that next step and phase of prep, right?
Yeah.
Like it's just
Yeah.
there's a point
Yeah.
where
Yeah.
you're just kind of like,
And I think I'm there. I'm ready
Yeah.
to pick one. I want to choose something. So I think it's close. I think we're really close to picking. So in a week or two, I'll probably have a big update of when I'll be competing. I ordered my suit. So new color. So super getting anxious and excited
Yeah.
to see that.
Yeah,
And
I'm
see how it
excited to
looks.
see it.
And yeah, so I'm just kind of like getting the little things like my suit, double checking I have all my jewelry
Mhm.
and things like that, and like starting to put things together. I like
Yeah.
took out some of my like Protan stuff because it was like looking through the box you gave me, and like just kind of like slowly getting ready. So when coach is like, let's go, I'll be like,
Ready to go.
yeah, I'll be ready.
You're like, I'm
'Cause-
packed.
Yep.
I'm on the plane.
I've been ready.
Yeah.
I've just been waiting for this text.
Purchased.
On the
Right.
plane.
Yeah. But it gets you excited too, because sometimes like during prep, because there's not tons that you can do because you're just tired or you have
Yeah.
so much.
Mhm.
It's just nice to do things that are oriented towards show day, and it's exciting. Spend
Yeah.
some money.
Oh, yeah.
Lots of it.
Definitely. We've been doing a bit of that. We're actually buying a new treadmill this week.
Oh yeah. you were
I have-
saying, yeah.
So having a treadmill at home for like fasted cardio and stuff is a game changer, and it's
Yes.
amazing. But when I first moved here 4 years ago and I got an apartment finally, I found a cheap treadmill on like Facebook Marketplace
Mhm.
from some like grandma's garage. I paid like $200 for it, and it was like such a big deal and so expensive to pay that $200 at that time. And
Mhm.
like even at one point, like they're at like the belt folded, and I like bawled my eyes out. I was like, I can't afford another one. I need this. I have so much cardio. Like, clearly I was deep in prep during that moment.
Yeah.
But it has served us well. Anthony and I both do so much cardio on it. The incline has stopped responding. It just is stuck wherever it is. We don't know what number it's at.
That's good.
It rattles. Like you can tell the roller on the backside is about to like probably like fall off and hit the
Yeah.
wall or something, and like the belt's slipping, and it's just and the whole house shakes when
Oh my god.
we walk on it because
It's
there's
time to
no
go.
cushioning. I was like,
Yeah.
this thing is on its last legs. So we found a deal, and we're getting one Monday.
Nice.
So
Yay.
Yeah, that is so you
Whew.
to like kind of use it till the wheels fall off.
Fall-
I'm more of
yeah.
like, why is this sticking? Like the first time it sticks, I'm like, okay, we need a new,
New one.
one.
I was just
I'll
trying to
donate
save
this.
money.
I know. You're way better
Yeah.
at that than I am. I'm like,
But
terrible.
we're spending a good amount of money on it, and like we talked about it, and I was like, this is worth it because of how much we do cardio at home and how much it saves time doing it,
Oh,
like
yeah.
in the morning, or not having to go to a gym to do it, or I can
Mhm.
come home from the gym and eat and then do my cardio when I feel more recovered from my workout, or just
Yeah.
different times.
I bet
Split
if
it
you
up.
divided it by the number of days and the number of uses you have, it's like cents
Yeah.
every time you use it.
How much
Yeah.
I use
You
it, and
know?
then Anthony using it so much too. He does
Yeah.
fasted cardio 6 to 7 days a week.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
So he's
it
like,
gets its. Oh yeah.
so
Easily.
it's getting used.
Yeah.
So we're super stoked about that. So little prep wins, exciting things like that.
Yeah.
Buying a suit and buying a treadmill. Oh, Zuma.
Yeah, new
That was
toys.
expensive this
Yeah,
month,
new
this
toys.
week.
Yeah, new toys. I like it.
Adulting toys.
I like it. I like it.
But yeah, that's where my prep's at, and I'm feeling it. I'm tired. Today is a good day because I have a little extra carbs, but this week has been rough. Not gonna lie, it's been hard.
Mhm.
Just have had to really lean on my partner, my friends for
Yeah.
some you got this
Yes,
energy.
keep
'Cause I'm not
going.
being negative, but I've been struggling. I'm like, I know I'm doing good. I
There's
know
only
I got
so
this.
much
but
you can
this
like
is hard.
hold in.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah, especially when the scale's not listening to you.
Yes,
Like
and
what
you're doing
you
all
know?
the things. Like
You're like,
there's
come
only
on.
you
I was
just
like,
need to be able to vent
explain
and
this.
be
I look
frustrated.
lean.
Yeah.
Why is it up?
Yeah.
Explain
No,
this.
I am weighing myself this prep, so I will be probably right there with you. Hopefully, hopefully not, but still, I'll be, like in that emotional.
Well, you've
Yeah.
been there for
roller
me.
coaster of
Yeah.
I'll be there for you, and we got this
Yes,
together,
we got this. We got
and
this.
it'll be good.
Right?
Yeah. So I think having a little bit of carbs on this recovery day on today will reset me for the week. I've got a busy week, and actually sometimes when I'm super, super busy on these hard days is actually better.
Oh yeah.
So when I
Yeah.
sit at home and stress
just
about
think
not
about
having
it.
food or like my
Yeah.
weight or something, I almost get like myself in like this more negative mindset.
Mhm.
And then like last night we went to an event and I was out late and I was like I had my food mostly gone early in the day,
Mhm.
but I felt better and more alive than I did like the whole day I spent at
'Cause you're
home.
distracted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you're
Yeah.
gonna be distracted this week and not able to even focus on
Yeah.
your weight, and
Yes.
it's just gonna peel off.
Yep.
And
That's the
then-
goal.
That is my favorite. That is the best.
So like the good distraction. So I welcome it. I welcome being busy because I think it's just gonna all come together
Mhm.
and it'll be good. And hopefully next week I'll have a bigger, more exciting update.
Hopefully we have a show.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Fingers
So,
crossed.
yeah. What about you?
I am just improvement seasoning it up.
Yes.
It's just-
Woo!
So we didn't make any changes this last check-in. We just kept calories where they are. I had a 2-day intuitive eating days, which
Yum.
kind of ate a lot. Not gonna lie. Not gonna lie. So yeah. So two things. One, I'm kind of like I have like two mental thoughts about it. One, I'm like, damn it. Like one, I'm kind of like, you didn't need to keep eating this or that.
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is like, you only have 3 to 4 more months of building, and
Yeah.
like, so what? Like, I clearly can tell I've put on like a couple of legit pounds. I have
Mhm.
not weighed myself because I'm kind of just like,
Yep.
I'm gonna give myself a few days
Yep.
of getting back into my routine, then I'll weigh
Yep.
myself, and whatever
Yeah.
my weight is, I'll be fine with it, and it's whatever.
Yeah.
It's just my way of like not
Yes.
thinking
Mhm.
about it for a few days.
Mhm.
Because I know if I weighed myself the next day, and even like yesterday or today, like I know I would just think about it, and I just like to get back to my routine and
Yeah.
feel good.
Yeah.
And so I wouldn't say I didn't I overate, but didn't like overeat.
Oh,
I just
yeah.
ate more than I wanted to, if
Yeah.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Like
6
my
days
Yeah.
into
own
prep, I
goals.
want to know what you ate.
Oh my God, guys. I ate like pancakes,
Yeah.
everything untracked. Like
Yeah.
I made smart-ish decisions. Like I got an egg white omelet with peppers and chicken instead of like real eggs and like all this cheese. Like there's
Yes.
some things, but
Yeah.
like if I wanted pancakes, I got pancakes and I ate them all.
Yeah.
And I
Yes.
shared nachos with Ronnie
Mhm.
and ate like half. I got dessert, and now the desserts I just took bites. So like that I took bites. I had 2 whole donuts. This is in 2 days. I'm just listing
Yes,
things.
yeah.
Like
Yep.
I had what else did we? I had sushi. I ate a whole roll of sushi, like this
Mhm.
deep fried sushi. So guys, like
Wow.
it was so good.
So good.
So I had a whole roll of this deep fried sushi thing. I had like every meal was like eaten out almost.
Yeah.
And like and I didn't like finish everything, but
Yeah.
I just ate out almost every meal. Like it
Yeah.
was kind of, which is
Yeah.
not something I would typically, if I had an untracked meal, it's just one meal and it's
Mhm.
just, and I just kind of like, I didn't like overeat. I just ate out every meal. If
How
that
was the
makes
food freedom, like mentally, from not being like, okay?
That's what was nice. So that's where my 2 thoughts are. Is
Yeah.
that there's one that like was like, oh, I had this specific goal with, and here's the deal, I didn't mess up my reverse, so I don't think that about myself. It's just when I look back, I'm like, you could have just been a little better here.
Yeah.
You still could have enjoyed the freedom, but been a
Mhm.
little bit better.
Mhm.
So if I could redo it, I'd be a little bit smarter,
Mhm.
a little bit just like, nope, I don't need that other bite. I am done. I don't, But then the other part of me was like, feels so good because I just 2 days of like not being in my fitness pal
Yeah.
and just feeling like a normal person and just ordering off a menu and just eating like I felt more relaxed. I was just like
Yeah.
relaxed and I was like just
Because sometimes, like, I know you're saying like those little extra bites, because I think about it like physically versus mentally. So it's like physically, yes, you probably could have had like a little bit less because physically, maybe
I
whatever,
didn't need
but maybe those little bites were actually more advantageous mentally, of like, just like being a little bit more like that food freedom of like, oh, I'm not full. I want to eat this.
and I
And so I'm
didn't
going to
eat
eat it.
to a point of that's the thing. That's where I know it's like it's better than I've ever done
Mm-hmm.
because I didn't eat to a point of like my stomach hurting or feelings. Honestly,
Yes.
I still felt like I didn't feel full.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I can eat a lot. So
Yeah,
there's
yeah,
that.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
like
So you didn't
Yeah.
listen to the ghrelin.
I didn't I
Yeah.
didn't every meal I didn't feel full. Like
Mhm.
I was just like okay. Like I
Yeah.
stopped like I was like walked away, okay.
Yeah.
And like
That's good.
I don't know if the extra I don't know. Mentally for me what it was is just not tracking for a couple days and just kind of like just living. Like just and
Yeah.
then the third day I was back on track and I'm like, okay, ready for this now. Like we're good. I got a little break from
Yeah.
my fitness pal. I got a little break from, I literally ate sushi, Mexican donut, like every little thing I think I could have wanted, I
Yeah.
like had.
Yeah.
And so like I got all my little like taste buds got what they wanted. And the thought is that like, yeah, so what? Like I may have gained a couple of pounds quicker than I wanted to this week. Like this week I probably would have gained no weight if I didn't do that. Or if I was just a little bit more responsible, maybe like just a pound. Or probably none at all. But the couple of pounds, I'm like, you know what? That's only gonna help me with building. Like I was staying fairly leanish. Like I
Yeah.
was 5 pounds away from my low. Like, and so it's only gonna help me with building, being a couple more pounds.
Yeah.
And we won't make food changes probably for a week or two. And I'll just write out my current calories. I'm all
Yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
It's
And you have
all
good
good.
amount of calories.
Yeah, I've got a good amount of food and
Mhm.
it's all totally fine. Like literally I feel fine.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it's one of those I did have like in all honesty, probably the next day, I was like, it's just that competitive nature in you that was like, oh, I could have been a little better here. Like, it's
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
little voice in your head, that little like, oh, like it's just that thing. But then
Yeah.
it's kind of like, whatever, I'm fine.
Yeah.
Like, and then
Yeah.
I get over it and I'm like, and then I shift my mindset to
Yeah.
this is only what do I need? Basically what I thought of is first of all, this wasn't some crazy emotional thing. This was
Yeah,
like a quick
yeah.
little, but the first thought was like, well, what do you need? Glutes. What do you need to build glutes? You need some body fat back on you.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
only
Yeah.
have 3 or 4 more months.
Yeah.
Like, and I struggle. So it's like, put some body fat on. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter.
You're going in the right direction.
Yes.
I
Yeah.
would battle with the fact of like, do I do more cardio? Do I eat less than
Okay,
what
I thought of the
my
eat less thing.
yeah?
That was
do I
me.
eat less? Yeah,
So I literally
to
was
kind
like,
of balance it
yes.
out for the week.
I wasn't the more cardio one because
Yeah.
I hate cardio.
Yeah.
Now, so I was like, well, I don't want to spend more time on the treadmill.
Yeah.
But I did go make myself be a lot more active. So like Ronnie and I have gone down to the green belt like every day and walked for an hour.
Oh, that's
like we just like,
awesome.
but so we did it together. I was making sure I was getting like a ton more steps. So I did do stuff like that. But I also did think about like, well, maybe I'll just lower my calories by like 500
Yeah.
and I'll just
Yeah.
like have my low days until I
Yeah.
check in. And I was like, no, Kalia, that is so stupid.
Yeah.
First of all, you need to check with Paul if you're going to do something like that.
Mhm.
Second of all, and is like, no, going back to my regular 2100 calories is not gonna like, it's on, I'll be fine. Like, and I
Mhm.
need, if I need to be eating this much food. I need to be building. It is not a diet
'Cause then you're not
mindset.
yo-yo.
Yes.
Yeah.
And I don't want to, I was like, you don't want to mess up Paul's plan. Like, you
Mhm.
don't want to mess up like the building plan.
Yeah.
And so the building plan means adding
need
a
to be
little bit
eating
of
that.
body fat and building muscle.
Mhm.
So, anyways, I didn't do any of that.
Good.
I just made myself be more active, but I was
Mhm.
outside with my husband, like, you know,
And more
hanging
experience
out.
as opposed to active on prep where you're like on the treadmill by yourself at
Right.
like 5 in the
Yeah.
morning
I
or
was,
whatever.
yes, yeah,
You know?
out in nature, out,
Yeah.
you know, hanging out with my husband. And so I did that, but I had the thoughts. I had the
Mhm.
thoughts because we all
Mhm.
have them. Even like
Yeah.
as someone, and I definitely think I am someone who is very mentally tough. Like I am very like,
Mhm.
I just, when it comes to that kind of stuff, like I'm very just like,
Mhm.
it's not a big deal, move on. Like
Mhm.
I'm like that. That's my mindset.
Mhm.
But I still have the thoughts. Like I'm just like everyone else.
Yeah.
Like as
You're
tough
human.
as I
Yeah.
am, I have them. I
Mhm.
just don't get too emotional about them and I
Mhm.
don't have them for very long.
Mhm.
I have them and then I talk myself out of it. I go,
Yeah.
oh, you need to build glutes, you need some body fat, you still look like an athlete, you still look good. Like it's
Yeah.
I just
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
all the things.
Yeah.
And then I'm like, check, okay, you're fine, moving on. Like
Just
Yeah.
being a little more objective than emotional.
Mhm.
and what I did, being more objective than emotional. And then the other thing goes, okay, next time I have another untracked like day or meal or whatever, like will probably honestly be within like a month or so, like 6 weeks when if I like for my anniversary.
Mhm.
And it's like, so I'm gonna think back to this and just go, okay, remember you wish, like I'm still gonna eat intuitively and free and what I want,
Mhm.
but just not go back for like another round of bites. Maybe I'm
Mhm.
good with my first round of bites, like still taste
Yeah.
everything, but
Mhm.
not go, because I was happy with the first, like, yeah,
Yeah.
that's kind
Yeah.
You know
of
what's
like,
helped me too is like just to remember those thoughts because sometimes like my brain is so like busy that sometimes I don't like I'm like okay I'm gonna
Right.
remember this
right. And then you
I
don't. And in the moment, you're like, oh, 2 donuts?
Yes.
I want 4.
So writing
Just
it
kidding.
down has helped me. So I'll write down like, okay, these are the or like people journal, like that kind of thing, like writing it
Yes.
down or like in your phone. The other thing that helps me is that I like better is taking a video. Like I just talk to myself.
Oh, really?
And
Oh,
I'm
it's
like,
true.
yeah, I just talk to myself. I'm like, okay.
Can
so
you
just
embed a
did
video
this.
in a note?
Yes. And that's
Because
what
I can put
yeah.
it in my notes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, you
Improvement,
can.
see, untracked
Yes.
day.
Yes.
And then watch the
Yes.
video and go, aha, that
Yep.
Kalia said not to do. Not
Yeah,
to screw
and then you
over.
just watch it
Don't screw
back.
over future Kalia.
Yeah. Yeah.
She
No,
says, "Watch
seriously.
this." If
Look at her
Watch
emotions in
this.
her face.
Yeah.
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 So-
I don't know. It's kind of helped me. I know. It's
Yeah.
kind of weird if anyone Zach's like, what is
Oh,
this
that's
video?
cool.
No, I like that.
Assist
I do
you.
like that.
Talk
And then
to
you kind of
yourself.
get the
Yeah.
like emotion
It's
and
like
the
video
real.
journaling, I think is what they
Yeah,
call it.
video journaling. I like it.
Yeah,
Okay,
almost like
maybe.
that letter to yourself, but in a video
Yeah.
format.
Yeah. I'm going to
Mhm.
try and do it for this prep too. Like just maybe once a week, just to kind of remind myself, even when I get into like, moments where like the scale doesn't go up, scale doesn't
Right.
go down, just
Yeah.
like little things like that. So I can just
Those
be
little
like,
frustrations.
yeah,
and then-
listen to myself, be actually sane when I
Yeah.
go into my insane.
When you go into your insane.
moments.
Yeah, so that's my update. We're all good.
Mhm.
All right. So let's kind of dive into today's topic. So a big part of bikini is that it's actually still bodybuilding. And to do bodybuilding, you have to do training. So we actually haven't talked a lot about that on this podcast because we're all mostly athletes and not
Mhm.
necessarily trainers.
Mhm.
So we kind of are like, it's not that we're uncomfortable talking about training. It's just that it's not kind of like our like wheelhouse of what we teach to
Mhm.
others.
Right.
But it is something very much that we have been executing from the beginning or even before we even started our bodybuilding journey.
Yeah.
I think a lot of us even got into it because we liked working out.
Yep.
Like, it
Absolutely.
wasn't because we wanted a transformation or anything. We were just already in the gym doing things, and it's like, all right, let's go.
Mhm.
Let's do something. Let's do this fun thing too while we're already here in the gym.
Yeah. As I've started
Yeah.
coaching, it's also become like a bigger part of my brain is not to think of it all from the athlete perspective, but to think of it a little bit more from the coaching perspective too. So, yeah, I
Mhm.
think it's definitely become a little bit more of an emphasis. So, we want to talk about it today.
Yeah. And so I think I get a lot of questions asked like, "Oh, so what do you do? Like, how do you train? Like, what do you do in the gym to train as a bikini competitor?"
Mm-hmm.
And you can do like my short answer always is like a laugh it off with glutes and delts.
Yep.
That's what
Little bit of
bikini
back.
is.
Top two.
But honestly, I think we've all kind of started in different places, and everyone starts. Some people are athletes already and have a really solid foundation of muscle, so their training program is most likely going to be different than someone who doesn't have muscle. And so there's a lot of different ways to approach a training plan. So usually like a coach or a trainer will write something for you. And I highly recommend doing that.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you're starting out, because it's going to give you a lot more direction. And a coach might be even able to tell you like, oh, looking at your check-in photos, you need to be more developed in this area or that area, or put on size just in general, and develop training for you.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Yeah, so I think they would manipulate maybe the frequency of how often you train a certain muscle group, not only just the exercise that you do, but like I said, the frequency. I know when I started, I did a lot more full body workouts in general because I wasn't in the gym too much beforehand. So I started, I think, just training more full body, and then I got into bodybuilding, and then I got a more personalized or custom training plan that was more bikini focused. But even then, like I was still doing things that I don't do at all anymore, like training chest. I have not done that for probably 8 to 10 years or something like
Yeah.
that.
yeah, but someone who there's like so even saying like not training chest,
Yeah.
someone let's say who doesn't have implants, who doesn't have muscle, to not create imbalances,
Right.
training a little bit of chest on like a shoulder day or an upper body day
Mm-hmm.
is still really good, just healthy overall foundation of muscle. It's going to give
Absolutely.
you density
I
overall.
was just gonna say that if
Absolutely.
you have like a really thin, narrow, like just a smaller, thinner frame and
Mhm.
upper body, and I know some girls that train chest to add that density to their upper body
It
Yeah.
to
can help
give
with
more
front
width.
delts too.
No,
Yes, training
absolutely.
chest does help with
Mhm.
front delts. I don't personally train chest. I have implants, and it's just not something that I do or any of my coaches or trainers, well, recently have
Mhm.
me do. In
Mhm.
the
Yeah.
past, I did. So that's one of the in the
Yeah.
past I've trained chest, and then it was taken out. It was just no longer needed for
Mhm.
me. But I did, however, though, learn that okay, wait, that's a lie. I guess I do incline pressing.
Yeah.
But
So
you're
Your
doing it very
delts.
delt
very
focused.
front delt focused. So it's not like a cable chest fly, like
Right.
it's very front delt focused. So it still is some chest, but
Mhm. Mhm.
it's not going to be like the lower pec muscle and
Yeah. Like
yeah.
chest as an accessory as opposed
Right.
to like the
Yeah.
main.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No,
And
absolutely.
I feel like when I first started too, like I was in the gym a lot, but like I think I just needed to put on overall size. And so I did a lot more
Mhm.
compound movements too,
Mhm.
like bigger like squat movements and deadlifts and like a lot of bigger, heavier lifts. And now with a lot more muscle on me, like I still do a lot of those, but maybe at a different frequency or more during my improvement season versus during prep. Like I think it just kind of has changed so much over time.
Mhm.
Um,
What are some other big changes? I know for me, I don't have like a full ab day anymore. Like I used to do a lot of obliques and things like that. So I haven't done that for a while.
which
Or
is crazy because now I do abs 3 days a week. No
yeah,
obliques, but I do 3 days a week. I do f- just like
just
leg
a
lifts
full egg
and
leg
yeah.
ab day.
Well,
Yeah.
not an
So
ab day, but just at the end of my
Yeah, I
workout,
do
I
like
do
yes,
like
I do a little bit
three
at the end of my workout.
three
Yeah.
by 20,
Yeah.
yeah,
three
that's what
exercises with 20
I do
reps.
2 days a week. It's on my upper body days,
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do
and
my upper body days
Yes.
too.
yeah, on my upper bodies, and it's
Yeah.
at the end, and it's just I 1 to 2 exercises of like 3 reps of like anywhere from 10 to 20, like
Mhm.
just
Yeah.
body weight, like just squeezing, holding, like engaging the core while I'm doing it. Like
And
it's
it's helpful for the core
mhm.
control and things.
Yeah.
Do you guys focus? Because I know for me, I have it's similar, but it's more on my upper body just because I don't train shoulders anymore. Um, but mine is more lower ab focused as opposed to full. So that's another way that he's kind of minimized things. So I do a lot more like lower leg lifts or like captain chair. Um, what are
Yeah.
those
Yeah.
called? Captain chair? I don't know.
I do a lot of
Yeah.
so my
I
abs.
don't know what those are
Yeah,
called.
what is Captain?
You know, like in
when you're
the
up
chair,
on
and
a
then you're
thing,
doing that leg.
and you still leg
yeah,
lift
it's
still,
still
but
leg
you're
lift,
sitting
but
Oh,
just
up.
okay, yeah,
elevated.
okay, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of ab rolling. So like the ab roller,
Oh yeah, yeah,
planking, like and kind of like doing like a vacuum while I'm planking, like engaging and
Oh,
pulling
those are good
in.
ones.
yeah.
So planking, ab roller, hanging leg raises,
Mhm.
and I do actually sometimes like every other week I add in. I love these. It's a light weighted ab crunch. So I use a rope from a lat pull down machine and
Mhm.
I flip the other way on the lat pull down machine. So I'm not facing in, I'm facing out. And I grab the rope and I crunch down.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
are you in there? You're sitting on the seat, but like
Yes.
backwards.
Yes.
Oh,
Sitting on the
cool.
seat
I like that.
backwards.
yeah.
I love it.
That's a nice
for
variation because like the rope crunch when you're
Yeah, yes,
but
but
not on
like,
the ground.
but it's not on the ground. I just, for some reason, technique wise, can never get the ground rope crunch right. I'm
Uh-huh.
like, there's too much momentum, or I'm
Yeah.
using my hips, or
Yeah.
something. And so, putting my back against the, my trainer Colton showed me this, and sitting facing out away, whatever. I've already explained it.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna move on
Moving
now.
on.
But and crunching down, it keeps my hips and my back like in place, so there's no
I like
momentum.
that.
And I hold it and then I breathe out and I engage my core and I crunch down. And then I slowly go back up, reset, and down.
I like
And
that.
so yeah, I like it a lot. I don't do a ton of it because I I don't think I have the like thinnest waist.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't want to build any more density. I just want to keep it kind of like sharp
Tight.
lines, like
Mhm.
tight. And
Yeah.
so I just do like lightweight and just like every couple of weeks just
Yeah.
to kind of,
Yeah, I
not
like
trying
that
to
one.
build it. But yeah, I like it a
Yeah.
lot.
Yeah. I think mine that I like that isn't in my plan is I love the decline bench. Like I always feel it so
Oh, really?
much.
That's
Yeah,
a good one.
I love
Oh,
that
see, and
one.
I don't like it because I feel like I use my hip flexors.
Too much?
Yeah, too much. Like,
Yeah.
not that, like, I can connect with my core,
Mm-hmm.
but like, I gotta really think about it. And
Yeah.
like, and then I do feel like it will transfer to my hip flexors. So yeah,
Little
for me,
bit.
I used to do that a lot. Like,
Yeah.
that's something I used to do like back in these years ago.
Yeah.
Was that kind of a lot of decline abs, because it's like, especially when you're newer into the gym, you're like, well, this is easy. You just put your feet here and you
Yeah.
just when you're
just
trying
come
to
up.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so, but yeah, not anymore.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know. It's just another one.
Yeah, when I think about training, I'm like, okay, what are the questions that people ask me the most? And something that people ask me a lot too is like, so how many reps do you do? What's the best rep range for growth? And I mean, we can all just sit here and do like ask your trainer, like depends
Yeah.
on your goals and things like that. But like for over time, what I felt, because then the other question that goes along with that is like, how heavy do you lift? Do you lift heavy? And it's like, everything I want to say is like, yes, I do all of that.
Yeah.
Yes, I have worked different rep ranges. Like there's certain exercises I do a higher rep range on because I just feel it more with like
Right.
mind muscle connection and engagement. And then there's certain things like this off season, I really wanted to get my hip thrust heavy. And so I did a lot less reps on those. But on that same glute day, I would do like a higher rep range on like the adductor machine. So I think it's like exercise specific and goal specific.
Absolutely.
And where you're feeling that little bit of failure and stretch. And there's also even like playing with it. Like my coach had me this year do things like where I would start and I would do something like 15 reps. And then the next set I do 12 reps. The next set I do 10 reps. The next set I do 8 reps. And every time the rep count went down, my weight
went
needed to
up.
go
Yeah.
up. So it was kind of like pyramiding up in weight, but down in reps. So it's like there's different ways to approach things that kind of can stimulate growth and things like that. So there's no one size fits all answer with like, what's the number one rep range?
Yeah.
Like it depends on how big the muscle is. Is it an accessory muscle? Is it is it your glutes?
Yeah. Is it prep or is it your improvement season, like you're saying? So,
Yeah, because right now, like my hip thrust, I am not doing 450 pounds right now.
Yeah.
I do not have the energy, but I did
Yeah.
increase the number of reps I do. And I sit there and I really focus on like hard squeezing. I
Mhm.
focus on like the method I'm using. Am I like lengthening? Am I scooping? I'm like
Your
thinking really hard
technique.
about
Yeah.
my
Yeah.
technique and what I'm feeling the most, where I want to feel it the most.
Right.
Because everybody's body mechanics are slightly different too. So like the same exercise for me might not work as well for Kalia,
Mm.
or it might not work as well for Steph for like engaging the same exact muscle. Someone might need to have their feet placement different or their toes angled out. I think you guys were talking about like the other day about like your the way your feet walk,
Oh,
Ever
yeah.
since we
your
have,
feet
I have been
angles.
literally
Yeah.
forcing my feet in,
Right?
like, and
It's so
using
weird.
the whole inside of my foot and the big toe to do everything. And today, so I did my glute workout. First of all, guys, I did a glute workout, like a hard glute workout, in less than an hour. So
Wow.
I just told myself that I waste way too much time in the gym. So,
Yeah, you
okay.
know me. I'm
And
like 45
a
minutes
good
to an
workout,
hour.
like such a good workout. But anyways, in this workout on the, you know what the Mecca, there's like that black kickback machine.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm.
I've like always been like about that machine with my glutes. And a lot of it is because I would feel it in the outside of my quads.
Mm.
And like it would just, I feel it in my glutes, but a lot in the outside of my quads. And I do not need to grow the outside of my quads. Like for right now, they need
Yeah.
to stop. And so, and let my glutes do the work.
Mhm.
So I freaking realized I rotate my foot out. And so today I was like, I took off my shoes and I rotated my foot in and I just pressed through the inside of my foot and my big toe, all glute, no quad. And I'm over here this morning like,
What?
how
Why
much,
have I been
how
doing this
much
for
glute could I
years?
have right now? And so, but it's okay. We're just gonna, that's
funny.
how we're lifting now. And so, yeah, so now, and I like lowered the weight a ton so I could just like squeeze. And I do like so just press through my inside of my foot. When I get to the top of the movement, squeeze and then slowly come down. And so
Mhm,
like,
mhm.
yeah. So anyways, I now like that machine.
I love
And
That's a good one.
yeah, we're gonna grow our glutes.
I love that.
That's what we're
I
doing.
love that.
But
Because yeah, it's like it's a lot about the big toe and the inside and like you guys are saying, I just naturally walk like kind of, is that
Mhm.
duck-footed this way? I think it is. I don't
don't
remember,
know.
but people say it's like
I naturally see, and I walk on the outsides.
yeah.
I roll my feet out.
I didn't know I did until I took off a pair of flip-flops once and it was like
Did you have
imprint.
indents?
It's like imprint. Yeah,
It's
it
like
has
all
like an
worn
impression.
in.
Yeah.
The bottom of your shoes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, not
Because
these
I
are-
was wearing someone else's shoes.
If
and,
these get
yeah,
worn out more on the outsides,
that's
then
where you put
that's
the
why.
pressure.
then
And
that's
see,
what
and
you
so I was
are.
telling Ronnie all this, and Ronnie's like, that's why like people like Steph, like whoever, if they grow glutes well, their body mechanics just naturally, not even in lifting, but in how you walk around.
That's how I
like
yes.
just how
Yeah.
you like live and like your body, like your
Yes.
fibers are just like, okay, first of all, if you know about training, I don't know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
I'm just like,
Yeah, we're
this
just-
is the
yeah,
Kaylee
yeah.
version of, but like your muscle fibers just activate that way. And like now your muscle fibers, like, and then the ones, whatever, if your feet are on the outside,
Yeah.
whatever those are,
Yeah.
mine
Yeah.
activate that way.
Yeah.
That's why I have such a hard time with my glutes,
'Cause when-
because my
yeah.
body mechanics just don't
Yeah.
naturally do that.
And then the
Like-
wrong things is when I'm squatting, I have to stop I have to like focus on pushing out kind of because
You go
otherwise
in?
I go in and I cave in almost. And
Mm.
so like my quads are the weakest.
See, and mine are the
Weakest.
strongest. So
There's-
it
yeah.
literally makes so
I
much
can't
sense.
squat.
Yeah.
But
As well,
And I can
definitely
squat,
not. Yeah,
but
but
if
when
I'll
we worked out together before, where you put on so much weight, and I'm like, holy f, like
and,
there's
but it's like
no
my
way.
quads that are like, and yeah, my glutes are doing it. But
Yeah.
like this is a training thing. Last improvement season, I took 2 years off, and I went hard on that Roger squat. Like I
yeah.
lived on that thing,
I
as
remember.
well
Yeah,
as like I got up to like 520 pounds.
I remember.
And
It was crazy.
but I did not, my last improvement season, I did not touch hamstrings, isolate hamstrings or isolate quads at all. Not at
Yeah.
all. Literally all I did was lift glute specific stuff.
yeah.
My legs grew
yeah.
last improvement season, and it's from squatting, because squatting does
Yeah.
target your legs, but
Mhm.
I needed my glutes, which is fine. I still needed that
Yes.
density in my legs. Don't
Yeah.
get me
Yeah.
wrong. I need this. Like you
Mhm.
need to have some density in your leg as a bikini competitor.
Absolutely.
Absolutely. Yeah.
But that tells me that in my squats, my quads take a lot of the work and
Mhm.
not my glutes. So I have to either take out squats and focus on things that do use my glutes more,
Mhm.
or I have to really perfect the squat in a glute focus, like taking it away from
In
my
a way.
quads.
Yeah,
Yeah.
or a
But
variation.
Yeah.
Like
yeah,
some sort of hack squat, leg press, something that's like the same similar type of
right, but
movement,
doesn't put so much into the quad.
but a variation that works best for your body mechanics
Yeah.
to target your glutes.
Yeah.
And that's where it's like it takes a little bit of playing around,
Mm-hmm.
and like your coach may like assign something like squat. Like, but maybe for you that means doing it on a certain machine or a certain
Mhm.
weight level that really helps you get. So like when I look at a training plan that like my coach gives me, I look at like the 6 exercises for the day, and I'm like, what is my coach's goal for this workout?
Mm-hmm.
Is it to hit hamstrings? Is it to hit glutes? And what's my feedback? Like, what is the goal of this workout? And if I need to make a variation, I make sure that variation aligns with what the goal of like muscle that we're trying to hit for that workout.
Right.
So when I look at everything, there's like certain things that I'm like, okay, so this is a glute specific workout. So if it says squats, this means that if I do a squat and it's a glute day, I need to make sure my squat is targeting my glutes. Like for me, like that might mean a Smith machine squat with my feet further forward so that my knees don't go as far forward and I feel it more in my glutes than if I just did a regular barbell squat. Like I'll feel it more. But like if it was like my feedback was like I needed more just overall leg density and it said squats, I might choose something that was more full leg.
Right.
So it's like kind of like there's like for me, I like to look at the intention of my workout. Is it my feedback and what muscle group are we specifically targeting? Because even if it says legs, like there's so much.
There's so much you can do.
So
And I
many
think
sides
with
and
you
types.
being more of an advanced athlete,
Yeah.
it's probably easier for you to say, okay, this is how I'm going to do that. But if you're more of a beginner athlete, it's absolutely a question that you should ask your coach.
Yeah.
And, you know, coming with suggestions, I think is completely fine. Saying, you know, like for me, like these certain exercises tend to make me feel, I don't know, more sore or more quad activation. And these type of exercises or variations make me feel more glute variation or glute activation. Sorry. And then having your coach then give you feedback as to what they think you should focus on. I think that that's like,
Yeah,
really
coach, that
good.
exercise hurts. That does not work for
Right.
me.
Yeah.
I have an injury. I
Being
can't.
more
That one doesn't.
engaged. Yeah.
I've always had
Yeah.
very, I think, from the beginning, maybe not my first coach, that might have been more, but ever since my second coach on, I've always had very specific training. So my coaches have always said, this is the exercise, this is how you do it, this is where you sit back into your like the weight, like very specific. So like, oh, we're glute focused, okay, this is how I want you doing the leg press, this is how, okay. And so that's how, or abduction, I want you
That's how
leaning
you
forward,
learn.
I want you leaning back, I want you, you know, I've always had very specific training, so I'm used to more of that. And so I've always been told what to do, and then what I do is I do those, and then I give feedback of like, okay, when I lean forward, I feel it here. I tried leaning back and I actually felt it better here. And then they go, good to know. Okay, then let's have you lean back or whatever the case may be.
Yeah, exactly.
And your trainers have been more in person too.
Yes, that's
right?
the other
So
thing with me.
thing.
So I have had in-person training like weekly for 7 years.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah.
Yeah.
And so
which is awesome.
I've had someone watching me almost every week for 7 years, learning how to lift. And that's kind of part of this sport too, is that you like that. Honestly, if you told me, other than posing, I love posing, but what I've loved the most about being a competitor is learning how to lift, and it's learning how to get better, is what I call the athlete part of this sport, like the lifting part, like the nuances I have learned about my body and how to lift, and like and a lot of it is just because like my body mechanics have just been complicated, and we've had to do some learning and testing and trying and tweaking, and that's been the cool, like that's the nerdy part of me that of like that's been cool. Now, do I know how to tell you what I've done and why and how? No.
Or how it worked for that.
Or how it worked for me. Like, no, I leave that up to the trainers that have designed all that for me and figured it out for me.
Yeah.
And I just give the feedback and then execute and
That's
give
why
feedback.
This episode is more like athlete
focused.
focused.
Like I can just speak on my experience as an athlete. And as an athlete, that's been the coolest part, is just figuring out how to lift better. And I've noticed like what we talked about in the beginning, I started out doing full body. I trained everything. I trained calves, quads, hamstrings, glutes, like everything, biceps, triceps, like every muscle group I trained. And then as I've gotten deeper into competing, which I think is very similar to all advanced athletes,
Mhm.
it becomes what like a lot of like top coaches call it bikini sculpting.
Sculpting,
I know like
yes.
Adam
Yeah.
Bonilla
Yeah.
on Team Elite Physique, right? He always calls it that
Yeah.
on his podcast, but bikini sculpting, like I think that's a true statement. That's a
It
true
absolutely
phrase
is, yeah.
because we started out probably the good first 3 years was like total body. I just needed
Muscle.
to
You
add
just need
Foundation.
muscle
muscle. I just
size.
needed to lift everywhere
Mhm.
and add size. And then as you do that, like I knew my biceps and triceps grew enough quickly.
Mhm.
Like they
Mhm.
don't, and then my quads and hamstrings, especially my hamstrings, they grew enough. And so then we kind of dial those back. Now, like probably 3-4 years in, it doesn't mean we took them out. We
Mhm.
just didn't do as many sets and reps.
Yeah.
And so instead of 2 days of hamstring a week, we had 1, and like we dialed it back. And
Mhm.
then now I do not isolate train my hamstrings or quads for
Mhm.
right now until
Mhm.
my glutes really catch up. I don't isolate train them. I don't isolate train biceps and triceps. I might hit them like once a month.
Yeah.
But like if
Yeah.
you look at my comparison photos, I have actually a little bit bigger arms than at least at my level, at the national level that I
Mhm.
was up against. Not too big. Like you would never say like, oh, your arms are too big. But they just don't need to get any bigger right
Mhm.
now.
Yeah, because you need the difference between your
Yes.
delt
Right.
and your
to be a little bit more
arm
dramatic
Yeah.
and
to show.
yes.
Which is why it's always evolving because you learn this from different coaches,
Yep.
different judges, different stages, because
Studying your
amateur versus
own
national versus pro.
Your own
yes,
progress,
exactly.
yeah.
Studying your own progress,
Mm-hmm.
studying your own physique against the girls that you're up against or that may be
Yeah.
beating you. Like, what is it?
Yeah.
And I learned, especially after this national season, like at least for now, my density in my upper body is there.
Mm-hmm.
Now, if I become pro and go to the pro league, I might need. We'll see. I might need more density, and we'll bring back some of that training, maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, it can change like that a lot. I know there was like
Mhm.
a period of time when I first started doing national shows that like my leg days were literally just like banded glute workouts and just some hip thrusts, like just glutes. Like we didn't even touch anything with legs. And now I like do squats and split squats and like I have legs again because I need the density on the pro stage. I need more size there
Mhm.
again.
Mm-hmm.
And I think the goal back then also was to let my upper body catch up because I
Mhm.
had done so much lower body training just on my own before I was a competitor.
Yeah.
I never did a lot of arms or back.
See, and I was the
I was like,
opposite. I
back
did arms
training?
and
What?
back because
Yeah.
it was like the easier, like the
Yes.
easier thing to do in the gym,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like you were good. I was good at. So
Yeah.
when you're good at something, you do more of it.
Yeah.
So before I got into competing, I already kind of had like
That's-
somewhat some back and delts,
Yeah.
and
That's
not
how
a
it was,
butt.
but opposite.
Yeah.
And so it was like, I think it was like, okay, it wasn't that I like had too big of legs,
Right.
is that we needed to slow down the legs,
Right.
let the upper body catch up,
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
and then progress both together more even because bikini's about balance. You need
Yep.
your upper and lower to match.
Yep.
So if yours like Kaylee and was growing shoulders first,
yeah,
you need to maybe sometimes slow down. It's not that you have too big of shoulders for the
no,
sport.
yep,
You
not
might
at
just
all.
need to slow down, let your glutes catch up,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
and then progress them together as you
And I still train
advance.
my glutes and oh my god, my
My
delts and my back twice a week. I just am not I'm not like if you watch me train glutes and you watch me train upper body, I put way more effort into those glutes.
Yeah.
My
Yeah.
upper body, a lot of it is like
Intention.
yeah, like it's maintenance. It's like
Blood
I'm still
flow.
pushing myself. Like it's not super light, but I'm not trying to PR on everything. I'm
Mhm.
not trying to like
Yeah.
but glutes on the other hand, definitely trying to like just really have intense workouts there, intentional and intense. So it's just my training intensity is different. Now, if when we compete again, if we notice like, oh nope, we need to bring those shoulders up a bit, we start being
Mhm.
more intentional and intense with those shoulder workouts.
Mhm.
Yeah,
So
it's
for me,
always
I'm not like
changing.
a Steph where I haven't had to take out shoulders or anything like that. The only thing I've had to take out are hamstrings and quads, isolated.
Mhm.
They still get touched with squats, deadlift movements. They're still getting touched with
Mhm.
secondary.
They're just not isolated.
They're just not isolated.
Yeah.
And then biceps, triceps, just yeah.
I just love how it always evolves. And then I love, like you said, going back to the drawing board and like figuring out my new training plan now that I've gotten this feedback. I get geeked.
Yeah.
I'm so excited.
I get so excited. Oh, here's a question. Do you guys like track your weights?
Oh, yeah.
I used to,
I have to.
Right
oh my
now
God.
I
have years of
don't.
tracking weights. Like,
Yeah. I have
but
to.
I think I just like know what my last day was because
Oh,
it's
I
like
can't remember
always
that.
the same
Yeah.
thing, and I always just try to do a little bit more.
oh,
I think in my improvement season, I track way more often. I'm more consistent
because
with
it's
my tracking
yeah, I see.
because I have strength goals.
yes,
And so I'm like always wanting to do just a little more, or a little bit harder. And right now I'm like, did I survive?
Yeah, that's
Yes,
true.
Did I
that's
get
That's
true.
through
very
my
That is
true.
very
workout?
true.
I
Yeah.
don't care if I'm doing like, oh my God, I feel good today. I'm gonna do my lateral raises with 20-pound dumbbells. But then I'm like, today's a day. I am a shell of a person. I am doing 15-pound dumbbells and
Yeah.
it's good. But I'm just gonna make sure I can get as much of a pump as I can.
So I
So
I agree.
it's like we're there when I'm there at like
Yeah.
that stage. I'm like right now. I'm like, I don't care what the weight is as long as I got a
I
really
get
good
that.
workout and it felt hard and good and
And you
intentional.
kind of remember it a little bit more, kind of during prep.
Yeah, it's like all I think.
Yeah,
Because it's kind of like, yeah.
I definitely track no matter, just
Mhm.
because, especially in building season, because we have
Yeah.
the strength goals.
Mhm.
I track technique too. So I track, like, now I wrote in my little thing, like, okay, feet inward, I was at 115
I should
pounds.
start a new
Like
journal.
yeah, like I like track that. So then when I go do it next week, if I remember like what I did,
Yeah,
okay, what I
to
did,
get
but
the
also
activation.
like the weight and what I did. And so, but I also track it improvement season because it tells me it's feedback I can give I just can't
Yes.
remember all that,
Yeah.
but I track it just for notes of like, okay, my strength really went down this week. And
Mhm.
just so he knows that. But what this last prep, I noticed my weight, like the weights I could lift, like they stayed high,
That's good.
regular. And so
Yeah.
I was strong all
Mhm.
prep.
Mhm.
And this was also like the fullest I looked.
Mhm.
And that could be a lot of things, but I think my training
Yeah.
was the best
It can
this
help.
prep
Awesome.
than past preps.
Yeah.
So it's just knowledge. It's just data for me to know. Like that's why
Mhm.
I track.
Yeah. And
But
then it helps if you ever have to incorporate like a deload week or anything
yeah.
like that, kind of.
Yep.
I haven't had to do that for the last 2 preps, but just
Mhm.
in terms of numbers.
Yeah. People talk about how like in prep you can't grow when you're in a deficit, but you can in
Yeah.
ways. But you can if you lift as intentional and like keep your weights and strength up like you're talking about, you can maintain that muscle that you have worked so hard. And we fight for especially as women,
Yeah.
we
Mhm.
fight for every ounce of
Every muscle fiber.
Yes.
So
Yeah.
it's like you want to continue to keep that. Like for me, like I'm 21 weeks into prep and I'm tired. And so like I need everything I can to keep my muscle while I'm like getting that last little bit of shredded outness.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm not putting on a ton of size, but like I sure as heck want to have the size that I worked for all year be
Stay
there
Absolutely.
when
put.
I'm
Yes.
when I'm leaner. So like for me sometimes that's my intention is not necessarily strength or building,
Right.
Mhm.
but it's like I want that muscle that I've fought so hard for to
Stay around.
be full, be round,
Yeah.
have blood flow.
Mhm.
Just keep it.
Yeah. And there's sometimes some exercises where like I know that I've always done, I don't know,
Yeah.
80 pounds or 70 pounds. And so when I have that one day where I just, for whatever reason, it feels like 200 pounds,
Yeah.
I'm like I don't know, I get a little emotional. I'm like, oh, I'm weak today. you know? So
Yeah,
I'm like,
I hate being weak on those
I
days. I'm
hate
like,
that's the
right?
hardest
I
part.
why
hate
am
that
I
feeling. I feel like
struggling
it's a crap
today?
workout. Yeah.
To me, I can handle the hunger. I
Mhm.
can handle hunger in prep. It's like fatigue and getting weaker.
Yeah,
That is
that's
like
hard.
that's the hard part for me, and I hate that feeling. That
Yeah.
is the worst part.
Because it feels like, I'm like, did I work out? But
Yeah.
you're so
Am
tired.
I still an
But it's like,
athlete? Am I losing all my muscle?
yeah.
Like you just get these
Yeah.
thoughts of like, yeah.
Exactly.
I would say like with training over the years, it's definitely been such a learning experience. Just even finding your own groove, trying to make sure that you're following all the feedback, figuring out what works best, but still enjoying it because like that's kind of like the thing that you do year round. You do it in prep, you do it in improvement season. You can set so many different types of goals, like strength ones mostly in improvement season, or even like a strength goal during your prep of like keeping your strength.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Maybe it's not PRing, but keeping that strength. And like even I like that you talk about like adding plyometrics. Maybe that's like not a strength type or workout type goal, but it's like something where you can add variation that's still athletic and it's still
Mhm.
something that keeps the gym fun, making it competitive with your
Keeps your
husband.
mind busy on those active rest days. I'm like, I don't know how
Yeah.
everyone else gets through their active rest days, but those are like my.
And it's like, one of the other topic I thought about like with working out is like the frequency, like how many days a week do you train?
Yeah.
I wish I
Oh,
could train
yeah.
every single day.
Yeah.
What?
I wish I could train
Oh
every
my God,
single
you're a
day.
crazy
I
person.
love being in the gym. I
What?
hate the days when I'm like, okay.
Do you know what my favorite is? I did it
What?
last off season. So 4 days a week. I trained 4 days a week. and because we really prioritized recovery. So that's the other thing about training,
Yes.
recovery.
Yeah, it's a
So you
big
can't
part of
recover,
it.
Missy.
I know. They tell me
But-
all the time.
Well, you have no problem building muscle, so apparently this is working for you. So
Still glutes, still a lot more glutes to come.
But so I did 4 days a week. I loved it. I just felt so recovered. My life schedule was better that way. Like I just liked 4 days a week. And I did 3 glute days and no, sorry. Yeah, 2
Yeah.
2 and 2. Yeah, 2 glute, 2 upper body, I think.
You know what I'm realizing with life? It might be because Zach trains pretty much almost every day.
Oh,
Oh, really?
Yeah, and so when I don't go,
You're like, what am I
I
doing?
feel
I'm
weird
left
at
out.
home. Yeah, I feel exactly. I feel left out. I'm like, yeah, that's what it is.
Oh,
That's
see, I
it's like
just
a
feel
lifestyle
it.
thing. I don't know.
I fill my rest days. Those are like my work days. Like
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
just full blown work mode.
So I do
And I
5 days a week.
Now I do,
Yeah.
yeah. In prep. So
Yeah.
now I do, and in prep I do 5 days a week. I used to do, so hang on, let's back up because previous coaching, the last improvement season, I always change, honestly, 6 days a week. My trainer or coach at the time had 6 days a weekend, which, okay, I don't agree with it now, at least for my body type and my goals now. But maybe then I needed it. I don't know. Like, but 6 days a week. Then it got moved to 5. And then in my improvement season, that's where I actually made it before. I was like, we're trying out 4 because I was just learning a lot about recovery and I felt so beat up. Like I found how I came across the 4 is 2 weeks in a row, I was like, I just physically can't work out. Like I wasn't recovering. I was so sore because I was trying so hard. And then my old style of training, I think was a little bit of overtraining with some stuff. And so, I just on my own took 3 rest days and I was like, oh my God, I feel so much better. And then I was like ready for the next week. But by that next week, 4 days in, I'm like, I can't, like, I just couldn't do it. And like, especially when, by then I had been an athlete for 6 years. Like it wasn't just, I was 2 years in, this has been a while of me collecting data and knowing my body and stuff. And so,
and the intensity, as you're talking, I'm realizing that maybe at the beginning we trained a little bit more
because we weren't as intense. Exactly.
Or you didn't even know how to be as intense.
Not only do you learn how to lift, but you learn what intensity is. I'm still learning. I think I really figured out intensity last improvement season. And now I'm really figuring out intentional lifting.
Right.
So I think there's intense, like kind of like pushing yourself through reps and not just doing easy weight, easy reps. But then there's also intentional lifting, using the muscle that you're supposed to be using.
Yes.
And so I was an intense lifter in my 2-year off season, pushing weight, pushing reps, killing myself in the gym. But I was still doing that super high volume. Like when I say high volume, I mean lots of exercise in a workout, like 6, 7, 8 exercises, like anywhere from 4 to 6 sets, like just a lot of volume overall. And that's where I'm saying I think that was too much. And at least for my body. Yeah. And then I accidentally took these 3 rest days and realized, no, I'm pushing myself so much these 4 days. I need 3 days to recover. And if you do your research, that is a common way of doing like a building phase too, of doing 4 on, 3 off. And so anyways, I did that. It worked beautifully. It's the most muscle I ever grew in an off season. I just felt the best. And then now with new coaching, we do 5 days a week, which is fine because these 5 days a week, my volume is actually a lot less than I've ever done before. So now I only do like
but it's more specific.
But it's more specific. Honestly, some of my stuff is like I come in and hit like 4 to 5 exercises. Sometimes it's just 2 sets, 3 sets. Rarely am I at like 4 to 5. Like
which is crazy because when I moved here and hired your coach at the time, it was such a different opinion because I came in and he gave me this workout and I was like, what the hell
like 2
is
hours,
this?
3 hours.
I don't have time for this. I was very like, I don't know, maybe I'm just very, very stubborn, but I am very much like leg day is an hour.
Oh, and I used to be there 2.5.
Yeah,
like 3,
I was not doing that. I literally gave it back to him. I was like, what is no?
Because you get an hour out of me.
Right. It worked well
and
for
today
me at
I
the
just
time.
did an hour glute day, a hard one. I'm destroyed. Like not destroyed, but you know what I mean? Like, and so it's like,
so it's just, so for me, it was like, probably 50 minutes as I'm getting lower not lower, deeper into prep, but 50 minutes to an hour and 15. I don't think I've ever, unless I'm talking or doing
Right.
something, I don't think I've ever really intentionally trained over an hour and 15 minutes on legs. And then for upper body, it's like 45 minutes, an hour tops. And that's just like my, I don't know, stubborn, steadfast, not doing more
Yeah,
than
now
that.
my upper body days are depending. It's about 45 minutes, maybe an hour. 45. It's probably 45 minutes, and then my leg days are usually an hour and a half. But
Mhm.
I learned today that I could be a little bit more intentional with that, and so now I think anywhere from an hour to an hour and a half, I'm good with. Like on
Yeah.
a glute day,
Yeah, that's where
that's
I'm
like
at.
I think a good sweet spot.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Because
anything
I
more
like
than
to have
that, I'm
longer
like,
rest periods on my
yes, it
leg
depends on the
days.
lifts,
Yes.
like hip thrusts, deadlifts, like
Yes, combo stuff.
combo stuff.
More work,
Those have
yeah.
a little bit longer rest period. But anything more than that, I think like, what are you doing? You're wait,
Yeah.
you don't need to
Are
be
you
in
on
the
your
gym.
phone?
I would also have to
Yeah.
say I am a supersetting queen. If you see me in
Oh,
the
see, I don't
gym,
superset.
I am
Yeah,
like
okay.
I like to keep my
Little.
blood flow glowing or going. I really I'm really conscious of what I'm working out, and then I try to pair it with something that is opposite, if that makes sense, or
Yeah.
not quite, so that I'm not burning the muscle out, like I'm giving it a little bit of a rest. So, like for example, I would do glute kickbacks, like an accessory sort of type workout with like single leg hamstring curls or something like that, because those two things for me go really well together. And so that's another reason why my workouts are shorter, but
Yeah.
I prefer to kind of go. Like I'm not really,
Yeah.
I don't.
Get the business done.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, but definitely with hip thrusts, deadlifts. Like when I start my workout out with the combo or the things
bigger
that I
lifts.
really
Oh,
have
that's
to
something that's
focus
changed
on.
with me.
I focus on this thing. So hip thrust for sure, because I
Yeah.
get a little bit of vertigo, and if I do hip
Oh.
thrust later, I won't do it.
I won't
Like
do
I
it.
start to feel sick and
Yeah,
like,
I
ugh.
used to be, because most people would probably recommend you do your combo bigger lifts in the beginning of your workout, just because that's where
You
you're
have
expending most energy,
more
or
energy.
more
Yeah.
energy
Mhm.
because you're lifting more weight. And
Mhm.
that's totally how I used to train,
Mhm.
and I agree with that way. But in right now, my focus on my training is intentional lifting, which is using my glutes and using. I'm a girl who can push weight and move fast through reps. I just swing, like I can
Mhm.
just and. So now I have to really slow it, work on tempo. I
Yeah.
am working
Mhm.
on that, like,
And your activation. So you need that
yes,
first couple workouts to be more of an activation, so
activation.
that
So
by the time you
I
get there.
flipped it.
Yeah.
So I do a lot of my accessory stuff. I have this whole little warm up thing I do to activate, but then I do like my accessory exercises first, and then I go into my compounds,
Yeah.
because my goal is not to push a ton of weight anymore in my compounds. It's to just put enough weight to target, like, to really, it's heavy, don't get me wrong, it's still
Yeah.
heavy, but it's just not what I used to do.
Mhm.
On the Roger squat, I'm not at 500 pounds, I'm at like 180
Yeah.
200 right now,
Yeah.
because I'm focusing on technique and squeezing and engaging the right muscle groups and the tempo, and then I will slowly work up again.
Yeah, and sometimes I feel like if you have really good blood flow in the muscle that you're trying to
Yeah,
work, like an accessory exercise like a glute kickback or on
abduction,
the abductor on like
gluteator, like that kind of stuff.
Bands.
first
Yeah,
will actually like create blood flow in that area and have it be targeted. So when you're going to do like the
it's
Roger
on and
squat,
nose to you.
that's what's
Yes,
on and moving and
Absolutely.
working,
that's what I need.
Yeah.
and your quads are cold.
Correct. If I was to just, oh my God, if I was to just do the Roger squat or even hip thrust, if I was to do hip thrust first, it would literally be my hamstrings that want to take over.
So, yeah.
And so I have to really warm up and target those glutes and tell them, no, today you are working, you're
Mhm.
on, and you're doing the thing.
Yeah.
And so then when we go into the compound lift, it's just, oh, we're on. And it's
Yeah.
just like my brain,
And the mind muscle connection
is there already.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's just something, and maybe I'll go back the other
No,
way.
I
And
like that. I think I do a little bit of that, but I do it a little bit at the same time. So I'll do
yeah,
hip thrust, but I'll do body weight kickbacks where obviously I'm not trying to build muscle,
but you're
but
turning on the muscle
when I
fiber,
do
you're
that,
like,
yeah, I'm turning them
mhm.
because I can feel it, especially right after
Yeah.
doing hip thrust.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, okay, and doing it single leg. For me, single leg is everything. Doing
I've done
combo.
and that's another thing, like how this has all changed. Like
Yeah.
this way of training the last year has probably been the biggest change I've had,
Yeah.
because I now do a lot of single leg stuff. Now,
Mhm.
some of it is because I've learned to have a little bit of a gluten balance. Not a crazy one, but
Mhm.
just a little bit of one. And so I've switched to a lot of single leg things to be able to just really connect with my right glute.
Mhm.
It's a lot of it is because I don't pose on my right, and so I need to do more posing on my right side
Yeah.
to
Mhm.
turn on that glute more.
Mhm.
But Yeah.
Single
So
leg stuff all the way.
posing, the little like make sure you're posing on both sides because it can affect your training.
Yes.
And yeah,
She's like, I've learned.
I've
Yeah,
learned.
yeah.
Frustrating
all the
me.
things. All the
Yeah,
things.
I think majority of my whole bodybuilding career has been about 5 days a week for training for me.
That's
Mhm.
kind
And
of
that's
the
worked
standard.
really well. I love having the day, like 1 weekday off because that's my appointment day.
Yep. I do that too.
I
One
get like
weekday,
my
one weekend.
facials and my massages and
Yeah.
my
Yep.
errands.
Your me
or-
time.
Yeah.
Yeah, or like if I have to do something, that's the day to do it because you just have a little extra time. Because sometimes like working full time and then you have to like run an errand after work, it throws off everything when you're an
Yeah.
evening trainer.
Oh,
Like what?
yeah.
Now I'm gonna have to
I
work
guess
out
we
so
didn't
late.
talk about that. Evening versus
Oh
morning.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
So
Oh,
I
that's changed for me.
Huge.
so I think
Yeah.
ideally, like also like on Saturday when I have a free like a day to like make my own schedule how I want to do it,
Mhm.
I love lifting mid late morning. Love it.
Like a 10 a.m.,
I've had
11
like
a.m.
yeah, or
Like
I've had
a
like 1 to 2 meals. So I've got like and I'll time it so like my carbs are all first beforehand. I'm awake, but I'm still fresh and have a lot of
yeah.
energy and haven't done a lot for the day.
Mhm.
Love that time frame. But I work Monday through Friday
Mhm.
and work all day.
Mhm.
And I know me, I feel too much pressure in the morning. If I have to get up early and I'm like, I only have an hour
It
at the
gets you
gym.
through your workout.
And
Though.
then I just like
Oh, yeah.
stress.
Oh, yeah.
But I stress
I need
and I
that
feel
stress in
like
a
I
workout,
don't
man.
I feel like I don't get
I'm
as
so
good of a
productive under
workout.
stress.
Because I'm like, okay, well fuck it, I can't do the oh sorry.
That's okay. We're all adults here.
I'm like, I can't do the rest of this. I just
Yeah.
have to go. I can't be late. I can't be late. And I'll
Yeah.
like get so stressed out if I do morning or I'm like, the drive time adds to the time beforehand. So then I have to get up even earlier. And then I'm
Yeah.
no. So I'm
Yeah.
just, for me, like I love that I don't have kids. I don't have anything to do in the evening. What am I going to do?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So like I come home, I relax.
Yeah.
I eat my meal. We get our pre-workout. Anthony takes a nap.
Oh my gosh,
Daily.
really?
I
Before
could
he goes to
not
the
take a
gym? I
nap
could
before
not
the
take it.
gym.
Me
Yeah.
neither.
If I take a nap, I'm done.
I know. Me too.
Especially in the evening.
Me too.
I'm out.
It is
I
bedtime.
basically went to bed.
It's
Me too.
bedtime. I hope Anthony's listening.
Sorry,
just
Anthony,
doggy
I
on his
told
nap.
you.
Oh my.
It's like for him, it like refreshes him. For me, it
That's
makes me a
so
groggy
funny.
monster.
Yeah,
Like,
Yeah,
I
it
cannot.
groggy and done for the day.
Absolutely.
So I just, but I use it as like a time to like just like reset, recharge, and
Yeah.
I'll like
You wind
sit
down
down
from
and be on my
work and-
phone and like decompress.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we'll go to the gym.
Yeah.
And then even like we get home at 8 o'clock at night sometimes, but like, okay, like
Mhm.
Yeah, you guys pass me in the gym being
Right.
like, oh my God, you guys, the sun is almost down. Why am I here? I want to go home.
but like I don't get up. I don't like getting up early. Like I have discovered like
Yeah.
I've had
This is just what works for
yeah,
you.
I've
And
Yeah.
had periods of my life where I do 5 a.m. cardio every single day.
Mm-hmm.
Done it, been
Mhm.
there. I've trained in the mornings. I've
Mhm.
done it.
Yeah.
But I just found out like the way my biological clock likes it, I am not getting up early.
Yeah.
I'll get up and do some fasted
I'll get up
cardio.
early.
Yeah.
I am
No.
a
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
yeah.
Yeah. She's
I've
right.
done it always, like, because I used to work in corporate, and so I used to have to work out at night, and I used to work like, just being like salary and working from home, like you kind of work until your work's done.
Mhm.
So I'd get done and not until like 6 or 7 p.m. And I'm someone who was like an overworker, so I definitely worked later. I wouldn't get to the gym till like 8 o'clock. I used to work. Your face.
I know.
hope
Zoom in
everyone
on my
sees
face.
Steph's
That
face.
was like a nightmare.
Like I
Steph's
used to
like,
work out.
I'm in bed by then.
late.
Right?
Yeah, I used to be a late workouter, and then I moved it up. Like I started out as like a super late workouter, and then more of the low time, and then as my career changed, I was able to fit it in during midday, and I would go midday because I couldn't adjust my schedule.
Yeah.
And then I started working for myself and moved it into like a morning one,
Mhm.
and then I went back to afternoon. Just it was with life changing
Yeah.
and stuff. And now I'm back to early morning, and I 1000%. I've tested early morning like twice in my little like bikini career,
You're
or early
crazy.
morning is the one.
Okay, so your ideal workout time is between
I would say
11 to 1?
late morning. So yeah, 11 to 1. But
Okay.
I end up working out like what's with my schedule, my ideal or like my best workout time right now is
Mhm.
probably like 4 o'clock.
And that's just training. Cardio
Yeah,
is morning.
cardio's a total different story.
Okay, but
Yeah.
cardio. What's your ideal cardio then? Morning? Because
I try to get it done in the morning.
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay.
As
And
early
then
as I can.
yours is more.
Mine's like I would like to be at the gym between 6 and 7 a.m.
Yeah. See. Yeah. I think mine lines
And
up
then
a little bit more with yours.
yeah, between 6 and 7 a.m. And then
Yeah.
I'm done because I do my, well, right now being in improvement season, it's different in prep, but I do my cardio, lifting, and stretching mobility work. So I am at the gym for like 3 hours, but
Mhm.
my goal is to get athlete me done. So when I come home,
Mhm.
I'm professional or wife me.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
so 6, 7 a.m. and then I'm there until like 9,
9-ish.
10,
Yeah.
maybe, like depends on, 9 or 10.
Yeah, I probably work out about the same time as you, but mine is kind of broken up because I do have cardio at home. And so I'll get up, cardio, shower, get half ready for work, go do my lift, which is I'm not a super sweaty person when I work
Yeah.
out. I don't know if that's weird, but I'm not
Not-
super, super
Not
sweaty.
in lifting.
Yeah.
Maybe glute days
Which is why I
sometimes.
separate cardio because then I have to shower in between. I
Mhm.
always wonder if people at the gym think I'm like super sweaty when I just leave from, because I usually leave from the gym and then I leave and work attire. And I'm like, I wonder if they're like, ew.
I do it.
Yeah,
But I'm like, I almost want to tell everyone at the gym, I showered before I got here.
No one judge me.
I know, it's just in my mind. But yeah, so I work backwards. So right now I start work usually 9:30, and so for me to drive to work from the gym, thankfully it's about 5-10 minutes. And so I give myself 15 minutes because I do stupid things around the gym where I'm like talking here,
She
doing
called
like
it stupid time
yeah,
earlier, and it
stupid
was really
time.
funny.
It's my stupid time, stupid stuff time.
Stuff, stupid time.
So I'm like, okay, so I have to be there at 9:30. I have to leave the gym by 9:15. Incorporate stupid time is 9 a.m. And so that means I have to start my workout by 8 a.m. So I have to leave my house at 7:30, which
I
means I
do
have to
that
start
same
getting
thing with-
ready at 7. And then I
Yep,
work backwards. So
from
it's
there.
usually around
Oh my
lands about
gosh.
5 a.m. Usually I have to get up 4:30 sometimes. But
Do you have an
depends.
anti-gym time?
Oh yeah.
Mine's Lowe's time.
Oh yeah,
But
mine's
literally
Lowe's time
anything
too.
after like 3 p.m.
Honestly,
If I get
yeah,
to the
no,
gym
no.
2 to 3 p.m., I
Yeah.
hate it. I hate that workout. And then anything later, anything from
Yeah.
that point on, it's not going to be a good
Yeah.
workout.
No.
It's just
Oh my gosh.
I'm
I
so
have to
not
be
mentally
meeting
in it.
someone. If I'm meeting a trainer or meeting a friend
Nope,
to work out,
yeah,
I'll
but I
I'll
don't
go do it.
want to do
But
it.
usually I don't want to. But yeah, so usually
Yeah,
I try
you're
to push
right.
people to
You're
the
right.
morning, but I will do it. That's the only time I will do it. If
Yeah,
I'm
if there's someone
alone,
holding you accountable.
yeah, if I'm alone, I am
Ugh,
going
it's
home.
the
I will
worst.
like literally have all my gym stuff in the car, looking at the gym like, no.
Yeah, not happening.
It's
No,
not
we'll
happening.
rearrange our rest days.
Yeah,
That's what I'll do.
100%. Because
Oh, I
work is
know.
tiring. So by 5:30, 6 o'clock, I like to be done.
But I clock in for work between 6:30 and 7 a.m. every morning.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
So like
See,
I have
yeah,
to be
that's a
at work
different
by
thing.
then.
Yeah, no,
So
yeah.
it's like
Yeah.
so for me to like do the
Oh, you
math,
couldn't even.
I'm
Oh my
like,
god, you
oh
have to
my
be up
god, I
at
have to
3
be at
a.m.
3 o'clock in
Yeah.
the morning. I'm
and
like,
that's not even good for.
No,
No, you need your
no.
sleep,
You need your
and you
sleep.
need regular
yeah,
sleep.
like,
wouldn't
it
do
would
that,
just be
yeah.
so hard. I'd have to be in bed at like 6 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Like
They recently pushed our start time for work, so we used to see patients first thing at 9 was the first patient.
yeah,
They switched it to 9:30. Everyone's groaning at me. I'm like,
Yes.
like
Yes.
more stupid
Yes.
time.
Win. What a win.
you just see me being quiet. I'm like, okay. But no, I have to say I do incorporate about 20 to 30 minutes of steps
Yep.
at lunchtime. And so we have an
Yeah.
hour lunch. I don't understand who takes an hour to eat lunch. I think
Oh
it's a
god, no! I eat
ridiculous
lunch in
period
like
of time.
15 minutes. And
Yeah,
then-
and so that's what I do.
Yeah.
And I even will sometimes if I don't have a patient before, I'll eat lunch even earlier so I can just leave when it's lunchtime. And then I go get my steps done over lunch and then go back to work. So usually that gives me a little bit more sleep because then, if I have an hour of
Yeah.
cardio, half an hour in the morning, half
Yeah.
an hour.
I will say I
lunchtime.
have been incorporating steps at my lunchtime. Like
Love
I don't
it.
go drive to a cardio. I literally just go for a walk. I have like
Yeah.
a route by my office, or if
Yeah.
I'm home, I walk Lily. And that has been like a big game changer in just like adding steps to my day where it's not like it's like time that you'd be sitting doing what
Yeah.
nothing.
Playing on
So,
your
like,
phone.
I
Yeah.
actually eat at my desk while I'm working,
Yes.
and then
Yep.
I clock out for lunch
Love it. Productivity.
and
Yep.
go for a walk.
Yeah.
So my eating time is not my like break time.
Yeah.
My eating I can because it's only gonna take me a couple minutes to eat my little tiny
Yeah.
meal.
Right? Yeah.
So then I go for a nice walk. I get sunshine. I get recharged. I get
Mhm.
refreshed. I get tons of steps in.
Mhm.
And like even like when I go into my office days, like there's an Albertsons like up the street, like pretty far. And so I make it like my goal. I'm like, if I walk all the way to the Albertsons, my treat is I get to buy myself one 0-calorie drink.
Oh, I love that.
I love that.
That's
And then
so
I drink
funny.
it on the way home.
That's
It's like
awesome.
cold and I don't know. So it's like my like thing. Like
In the sun.
Yeah,
if
but
you
then you
walk
have a
all the way there-
target of going somewhere and coming. I like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And so I walk all the way from like my office to like this Albertsons, and it's a long walk, but like it like makes me go all the way instead of being like, well, that's enough. I'm gonna walk back now.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I think like even if someone's not a bodybuilder or they're just interested in fitness or getting in better shape or starting dieting,
Yeah.
movement is key.
Yeah.
And so just adding steps in like that is just like that midday lunch break walk is such a mental
Yep.
The
thing
sunshine
where your
is so
benefits
nice.
are physical.
Yeah.
You
The
gotta
other
get that
doctor.
meat.
Yeah, the
Meat,
other
that
doctor
meat.
I work with,
Yeah.
he also goes and does like stairs or walking around the building. So it's not just me.
It's good for you.
Yeah, we're
It's
both
good for you.
gone.
Get out on
Yeah.
your lunch breaks.
Yeah, yeah, that's
Mhm.
really good. It's really good. But you don't use them as like intentional cardio times. You use it
No.
more as like step times. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
Yeah.
get sweaty that time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's fair.
I do my cardio. If I'm in prep, it depends on how much I'm doing.
Yeah.
But usually half in the morning, half in the evening is what
Mhm.
I do. But right now, since it's so little, I just get all out in the morning.
That's
And
yeah.
then
Mhm.
and then what I tell myself, it depends on what I'm doing, I guess, but if I'm sitting a lot, I'll say like every hour and a half. It depends on if I have clients or what I'm doing, but every hour and a half, I'll go and like do a 10-minute walk, and like I have a little loop around my
Yeah.
house, or I have a treadmill at my house too. And then if I'm sitting for a couple of hours, then I'll do like a 30-minute. I'll like go take the dogs. Like, okay, let's go on a walk with my husband or something, and
Mhm.
and I'll do that. But I'll do
It
that a
breaks
couple
up your
times throughout the
day.
day or a
It's
nighttime
worth
one.
it.
I
So
like that. I like
yeah.
that. The craziest thing I do is walk around the office. If I get really
Oh my
antsy and I
gosh.
can't handle it, I'm like, okay, I've got to walk around. So yeah, people at work think I'm crazy. I'm just
I'm
like,
a-
They're
I
staring.
just need to walk.
Need to move.
I'm
I
a
need to
fair weather
move.
person. So if it's like not nice out and it's raining, oh no, I'm not going for a walk outside.
Yeah.
No.
No.
So I have like a laps around like my office building is actually like a square and there's like a circle. So like I literally can do laps around these like cubicles. And so I walk by these people's offices like multiple times
That's
in a row
funny.
and they're like, she
What are
doesn't
you
even,
doing?
who is
Yeah.
that?
Yeah.
And I'm like, but I'm like walking.
Yeah, you're like going.
Like really
Going.
walking.
That's
I
funny.
was like, I gotta get back to my desk. I'm just gonna do some laps here.
Right. That's
But I
funny.
will do that every like so often, or like after I finish things, or after I eat, or like things
Mhm.
like that. Just like break it up and move it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think
Does that wrap it up for training?
I think
Yeah.
today, I think there's like some certain things like if you guys have more specific questions on training for us, maybe we could bring someone who is a trainer on the
Yep.
podcast as a guest
Absolutely.
in the future. That might be something if you're interested, so we can get into like some more technical like Q&A maybe.
Mhm.
Yeah.
But let
Just
us
because we're all
know.
speaking on behalf of like our experiences. At
Yes.
least that's my
Exactly.
yeah.
Yes.
I'm
Yes.
no
Yes.
trainer.
Athlete,
No trainer over
athlete
here.
experience
So-
and what works for us
Yeah.
at this time.
Yeah, or if we do a Q&A next time, like ask us training stuff too. Like it's not just about posing or
Mhm.
bikinis,
Mhm.
sparkly
Or the
bikinis.
industry.
Like
Absolutely.
we are bodybuilders still, even though it's bikini specific, you know, and
Mhm.
we have got to build a certain shape and y'all work hard in the gym, and so it's like it's a big part of the process. So
Absolutely.
let's cover it more as we kind of like maybe there's one of you will ask us a question that sparks a whole topic,
Mhm.
something we didn't think of, and yeah, we'd love to hear from you.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Absolutely.
So yeah, thank you for joining us, episode 19.
Thank you
Bye.
guys.
Bye, guys.